Hello kids, do you know how plants make their own food? No? Well, this video elaborates the process of photosynthesis, by which plants make their own food. Photosynthesis is the process used by plants to make their own food, or in more complex terms, it is the conversion of light energy into chemical energy by plants. This chemical energy is used by the plants for growth and nourishment. Photo means light and synthesis means putting together in Greek. When humans cook food, some essential things are required, including fire, water, vegetables, etc. Similarly, to make their food, plants also need some essential factors, including light, water, nutrients, soil, etc. Plants get light from the sun, water from the ground, and carbon dioxide from the air. All of these factors, including air, water, carbon dioxide, and sunlight, together help plants churn out their own food. Plants have tubes called xylem, located in the stems through which the water from the ground is sucked into the leaves. This system works similar to humans sucking liquids through a straw. The xylem is spread throughout the different parts of the plant, including the stem, branches, and all the way up to the leaves. The xylem transports vital nutrients to the entire plant. Xylems in the plant are like blood vessels in the human body that act as an important means of transportation of water and nutrients. Leaves on the plant have pores, very similar to the pores on the skin of our bodies. These pores are called stomata. These stomata are responsible for the exchange of gases. The carbon dioxide present in the air, which is responsible for photosynthesis, enters the plant through these stomata. Oxygen also comes out through these stomata. Leaves have important cells called mesophyll cells. These cells contain a green color component called chloroplast. This chloroplast is responsible for the green color of plants and leaves. Once the carbon dioxide and the water reach the chloroplasts in the presence of sunlight, the process of photosynthesis starts to take place. The following reaction takes place in the leaves of the plant during photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide plus water, in the presence of light energy, results in oxygen plus glucose or carbohydrates. The products formed are glucose and oxygen. Carbohydrates, which are a form of glucose, are synthesized from carbon dioxide and water. Glucose is used by the plants for their growth. Some of the glucose is used immediately, and the extra glucose, which is not used, is stored in the form of starch in the leaves. Some amount of this extra glucose is also stored in the roots of the plants. This extra glucose is used to perform photosynthesis when there is no sunlight. Oxygen is given out into the air through the stomata in the process of photosynthesis. The oxygen that is released is used by human beings to breathe during their respiration process. Ever wondered why this process is called photosynthesis? Well, the word photosynthesis is a combination of two Greek words, photo and synthesis. Photo means light in Greek, and synthesis means putting together or combining. Hence, photosynthesis literally means combining water or carbon dioxide in the presence of light. So the essential factors for photosynthesis to take place include sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide. Underwater photosynthesis takes place at a slower pace than the normal photosynthesis. This is because energy from the sun is absorbed by the water layers and only some amount of energy actually reaches the plant. There are some plants which don't need the process of photosynthesis to grow. Such plants include mushroom, Venus flytraps, etc. Mushrooms get their food from the ground and from their surrounding areas. Venus flytraps trap and catch small insects which come near the leaves and eat them. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more cool science videos.
Plants are the only living organisms that can prepare their own food. They are called autotrophs. The leaves of a plant are its food factories where the synthesis of food takes place. Water and minerals present in the soil are absorbed by the roots and transported to the leaves. Carbon dioxide from the air is taken in through the tiny pores present on the surface of the leaves. These pores are surrounded by guard cells. Such pores are called stomata. Water and minerals are transported to the leaves by the vessels, which run like pipes throughout the root, the stem, the branches and the leaves. They form a continuous path or passage for the nutrients to reach the leaf. The leaves have a green pigment called chlorophyll. It helps the leaves to capture the energy of the sunlight. This energy is used to synthesize food from carbon dioxide and water. Since the synthesis of food occurs in the presence of sunlight, it is called photosynthesis. Photo means light and synthesis means to combine. In the process of photosynthesis, plants use carbon dioxide and water to make food called glucose, which is distributed to all parts of the body. As a result, the plants breathe out oxygen in the air, which all living beings need to survive. In the absence of the sun, which is the ultimate source of energy on Earth, plants would not have been able to survive. Plants transport water and nutrients to their leaves through a vascular transport tissue called xylem. These are dead, empty cells which connect end to end, forming long, continuous tubes. These tubes carry the water up. The tubes are continuous pipes that extend to the whole length of the trunk. Because water molecules carry a slight electric charge, they are attracted to each other. This natural attraction, known as cohesion, links the molecules in long continuous chains. At the leaves, water escapes the xylem and evaporates through microscopic pores on the surface, as in stomata. As each molecule breaks loose, it pulls up another molecule to take its place. This continuous pulling tension extends all the way down the xylem tubes to the roots. Here, the rising chain of molecules keeps the pressure low, allowing water and nutrients to enter through a process called osmosis. Phloem is the other living tissue in plants that carries organic nutrients known as photosynthate, in particular glucose, a sugar to all parts of the plant where needed. In trees, the phloem is the innermost layer of the bark. It is placed almost adjacent to the xylem. The phloem is mainly concerned with the transport of soluble organic material made during photosynthesis. This process is called translocation. Apart from xylem and phloem, a plant has other tissues such as parenchyma, chlorenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. These are called simple permanent tissues. The roots of plants absorb water and minerals from the soil through the root hairs by the process called osmosis. Only a small percentage of this water is used by the plants. The rest gets evaporated from the surface of leaves. This evaporation of water from the plant is called transpiration. There are three types of transpiration depending upon the site of transpiration. They are stomatal transpiration, lenticular transpiration, and cuticular transpiration. Stomata, as mentioned before, are the openings on the leaf surface through which transpiration takes place. The stomata are surrounded by guard cells which help it open and close. This is how stomatal transpiration takes place. Lenticels are minute openings on the stem, and a small amount of water is evaporated through them. This is called lenticular transpiration. Lenticels are less in number as compared to the stomata. Cuticular transpiration is the one which takes place from the surface of the leaves. Leaves are covered by a waxy layer of cuticle. The cuticle actually helps the leaves to reduce the amount of transpiration taking place.
Other modes of nutrition in plants. As we know, most of the plants perform photosynthesis and synthesize their food. Some of them exhibit heterotrophic mode of nutrition by depending on plants which synthesize food. Such plants which obtain nourishment from other plants are called as parasites. Parasitism is an example for heterotrophic mode of nutrition. In this relationship, the plant which supplies nutrition is called as host, and the plant which obtains nutrition from the other is called as parasite. Example, cuscuta.
Cuscuta is a parasitic plant which climbs over the host plant to obtain its nourishment. As cuscuta is devoid of chlorophyll, parasitic plants develop special roots called hostoria, which penetrates into the host stem and absorbs instant nourishment from the host.
Plants that grow on dead and decaying matter. Some organisms depend on dead and decaying matter for their nourishment. This mode of nutrition is called as saprotrophic nutrition. The organisms which exhibit such type of nutrition are called as saprotrophs. Example, fungi. Fungi grow from small structures called as spores. The body is made up of tubular structures called as hyphae. The network formed by hyphae secrete digestive juices on dead and decaying matter and convert it into soluble form. This soluble form is absorbed easily to obtain nourishment. Children, have you ever seen moles growing on bread slices? These are fungi. Fungi also grow on pickles, clothes, leather goods, etc. Fungal spores are very active during rainy season. They germinate easily in moist climate and grow rapidly on things. Special mode of obtaining nutrition in insectivorous plants. Children, Do you know some plants eating animals? Let us see what are they. Some plants like Nepenthes,
Atricularia, Drosera, and Venus flytrap plants are examples of insectivorous plants. These are also called as carnivorous plants. They can trap and eat insects completely to obtain their nourishment.
which can trap and eat insects completely to obtain their nourishment. An example for heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Nepenthes has some leaves which are modified into pitcher-shaped structures. The apex of leaf forms the lid, which is flexible to open and close the pitcher. Mouth of the lid is sticky with some hairy outgrowths. The sticky secretion shines to attract the insects. As the insect comes and sits on this secretion, it gets entangled by hairy structures and immediately lid of the pitcher gets closed. The inner lining of the pitcher secretes a lot of digestive juices to digest the insect. In this way, insectivorous plants obtain their nourishment. Symbiosis. This is a phenomenon in which two organisms live together to share shelter and to obtain nutrients. The organisms which participate in this relationship are called as symbionts. Some bacteria like Rhizobium live in root nodules of leguminous plants. Rhizobium obtains minerals and shelter from the plant, in turn fixes atmospheric nitrogen to the plant. Lichens are the organisms in which algae and fungus live together to share the necessary factors. Fungus provide shelter, water and minerals to algae.
Alga, in return, synthesizes the food by the process of photosynthesis and provides food to fungi.